National Innovation Startup Policy. Now, I would like to introduce today's chief guest to the gathering. To do that, I would like to call upon Mr. Rohit, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon all. Myself, Rohit S., Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, ATME CE. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Sandeep Patil, Executive Director, Applied Cognition System Private Limited, Bengaluru. Sir has 10 years of core technical experience in embedded systems, SOA-based enterprise solution development, and managerial experience in team building and delivery management. Sir also has entrepreneurial experience engaging in various roles as hands-on on R&D, engineering and product management. Sir is currently working as Executive Director at Applied Cognition Systems Private Limited, Bengaluru. Sir has 4 journals and 1 book publications. One book publication to his name. It's a privilege to have him as a keynote speaker for today's event. So I welcome you, sir. Sandeep Patil.
Thank you. Thanks, Rohit. So I hope I'm audible.
Sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay, so let me share my screen.
So thank you very much, Rohit, sir. So now on behalf of ATME College of Engineering, Management and Institution Innovation Council, I extend a warm welcome to Sandeep, sir. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sandeep sir,
Yes.
this is Ratnakar. Sorry to interrupt. Sir, your signals are weak. Maybe you can mute your video and talk. Because
Okay,
now
now,
yeah,
how is it?
voice clarity is good, sir, now. I think you can proceed now. Maybe you
Okay,
can share the screen and you can proceed, sir.
okay. So just can you give me a brief idea about who are the participants, what domain they are?
Sir,
Sorry, sir.
yeah, over to Yashwant. You talk, Yashwant.
Yeah, sir. So sorry, I think there was a few poor internet connectivity issues were there. So actually, I just extend a warm welcome to you, sir, on behalf of ATME College of Engineering and Institution Innovation Council. We are pleasure to have you today for this current webinar, sir. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, sir, yes, today in the audience we have students from second year, third year, and fourth year engineering, along with participants from external colleges, faculties, and research people as well, sir, who are
Okay.
interested in entrepreneurship and innovation related activities.
Okay, nice. Okay, so I think
Sir, let me add on to that. At ATME College of Engineering, we have got this Institution Innovation Council, okay, which has been set up last year, and we are actively working on bringing out entrepreneurship, and we want to educate them what are the basic requirements that they need to understand about startups and how to become entrepreneurs. So with this measure, we are trying to educate them, or give them the knowledge required for becoming an entrepreneur. That is where we are organizing programs like this, wherein it talks about the startup innovation, startup policies, and things like that. So we are trying to educate the students about how they can become entrepreneurs, or what is the new trend that is happening. Until unless they become entrepreneurs, definitely they will be hunting for jobs. We want them to become job providers. That is the objective, and in this it is necessary that they need to understand what a startup is, or to have a startup they should be innovators. So they need to understand what innovation is and things like that. Because of that, we are taking a lot of initiative in organizing these kind of programs, and students are actively participating in this. Maybe in coming days, definitely we look forward to have lots and lot of students who are going to show lots of interest towards becoming entrepreneurs. That is the objective, sir.
very
And
nice.
majority of them are students, and we have faculties also, because we are looking for faculty entrepreneurs also. Faculties are also listening to your sessions now.
Okay. Okay, nice, very nice, sir. I think Ratnakar sir, you can be with me, interacting, so that the entire webinar doesn't become a monotonous. So if there is anything in between, we can keep interacting. I think that will give a more participation to rest of the participants as well. Okay, so uh, is my voice clear to everyone?
Sir, in fact, it is echoing. I don't know where the problem is. We are also checking.
I think from the other side, somebody has.
Rohit, can you mute all the people? Except speaker, can you mute? Sir, I think now it's clear. Sandeep sir, you need to unmute and start. Sandeep sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I think thanks a lot for the opportunity given to me to share my experiences as an entrepreneur. So before I start, let me ask a simple question. One of you can answer, just unmute and answer. Okay, so can somebody tell me what is innovation? Anybody, even faculties are welcome to answer. What is innovation? So a lot of us, we go gung-ho about when people talk about innovations, people talk about new things being discovered, new things being developed, new things being brought to the market. So we are very fascinated to see that new things are coming into the market and making a success in the market. So can somebody tell me what is innovation? So let us try to understand what is innovation. So is it possible somebody can answer, or shall I answer? So if I answer, it becomes a monotonous webinar. So if somebody participates, it would be better.
So somebody please answer, no? Please answer sir question so that it becomes more interactive.
Okay, so I think most of the students are yet to start thinking. So let me put the answer. The innovation is the word innovation and inventions have been taken for granted so far. We think that innovation, everything we do in the lab is innovation. No. So everything that we do in the lab, everything that we develop in our garage is not an innovation. So innovation is innovation when the science meets business. When science meets business, then only it's innovation. If science doesn't meet business, then there is no innovation. It is just a research paper or some publications that you can be proud of yourself. But when science meets business, the real innovation happens, and it benefits the community at large, and it takes the human race forward. That is innovation, right? So with this, the word, in a layman language, I put the word, the meaning of the word innovation. So let me tell you, my story. Okay, so how, what inspired me? I think there are students as young as second year, third year students. You're just, into the engineering domain, and I think you're just discovering the good things about your departments or the domains that you're studying in, but you want to become an entrepreneur. So if you're passionate about becoming entrepreneurs, so for that purpose, let me tell you my story, so that I was a student like you 10 12 years before. So what exactly motivated me to be what I am today? Okay, so uh, I have started just a brief. I think Rohit had given a brief about me. So I started a company in 2010 along with Dr. Ram. So Dr. Ram was a former director of Intel India. So we both of us started this company and successfully sustained this company. Rolled out a new venture in 2016-17, and in 2020 we rolled out one more company called Forma IT. Right. So how all these things happened in the last 10, 11 years? So when I was a student in back 2008-9, when I was doing my final year engineering. So let me tell you guys that I was not a good student, by the way. So not even eligible to be uh, eligible for any kind of placements in the college. So you can imagine how good I was. So I was studying my biomedical engineering in Bapuji Institute of Engineering in Davangere. Okay, so then somehow I completed my engineering, and then so there were no placements in my hand. So obviously, you will have to keep yourselves busy so that whenever somebody in your family asks you what are you doing, so I say I wanted to say that I'm busy. So how do you keep yourself busy? The best way to keep yourself busy is go for higher education or do the masters. So that's when I applied for Manipal. Uh, there was no passion to do masters or anything. So it was just to make sure I was busy in my life. To cover up my failure in my engineering, I applied for masters. So somehow, to my luck, I got the seat in Manipal. So I joined Embedded Systems and Design in Manipal for MS, Master Science. So first year, yeah, the same engineering attitude continued. So again, I did not have placements back in masters as well. So normally in masters, what happens is the second year is all about internship. So internship, more than 50 plus companies came to the campus for the internship in Manipal. So I was so good as a student, so that I could not get placement even in one. So I was thinking about where to do my internship. So 1 year of full-time internship, you have to work like an employee, do your thesis, submit your thesis, all these protocols, typical master's protocol. So I had to do it anyways to complete my master's. So then I was just thinking. I saw in the notice board there was a small brochure, small letter put up there. There is some project opportunity under Dr. Ram Kumar. So somehow to finish my protocol, I had to search for an internship. So then I called Dr. Ram. So when I called him, he said there was no interview as in. So he said, I said, I want to do my internship. He said, yes, good. Come over to Bangalore. So I was very happy because there was no interview and I got my internship. So I went back to Bangalore. When I went to Bangalore, now the first shock I had in Bangalore was when I called him. He said, "Come to my home." So normally you'll imagine, no, which company CEO will call you to his house, right? So I said, "Okay, fine, I'll go to the home." Now I went to his house. So we had a chat. I had my breakfast in his house. So let's go to the office. Then I said, "Okay, fine, let's go to the office." And I went to when he took me to the office, he took me to the basement of someone else's office. There was an office which somebody else was already occupied. The basement was free, where people normally park the cars. So he took me to the basement, which was vacant. So he said, "This is our office from now." So that was the first cultural shock I had after completing my MS in Manipal. As I was doing my Manipal, my MS in Manipal. So you come from the best of infrastructure, best of people around you. Your classmates are in Texas Instruments, LSI Logic, Intel India, and wherever the best internships were there. My classmates were all there, and I come to a place which is a garage. And suddenly I felt this cultural shock, and that moment I decided and said, this will be my last day of my internship here with Dr. Ram Kumar. Okay, so somehow I have come here, so I had to manage that particular day. So he took me inside and he said, there's a drilling machine, there are beads. Okay, take the beads, take the nails, you have the drilling machine, fix the marker board. The first job for an MS student who is doing his embedded systems and design, the first internship work I got was to drill 2 holes in the wall and fix the marker board. So fast forward 3.5 to 4 hours. Because that was the first time I held a drilling machine in my life. So I drilled 2 holes and fixed the marker board. And 3.5 hours was the time I took to put 2 holes in the wall. So then, I just went to Ramkumar and I said, I wanted to get out of that office at any cost and go back to Manipal because I felt, this is not something that I wanted to do. And once I finished my work and I just went to him and I just gave a lame reason that, I came today morning, I want to settle down. I'll just go back and get back early in the morning tomorrow. But in my mind, I was pretty sure that, I was not coming back tomorrow. I was going back to Manipal. So what happened was, he said, yeah, okay, go ahead and settle down. And, I was just about to leave. He called me back and he said, did you feel bad? I actually felt bad because, because at that age, when your friends are all in the best of places possible, you're left here to drill 2 holes on the wall and, fix the marker board. So that was working in my mind, I was just, I didn't want to tell him that I was feeling bad because he would convince me to stay back. I didn't want him to convince me so that I would be staying back. I wanted to get out of that place, go back to Manipal. So I said, no, sir, I'm not feeling bad. Then he asked me to sit down and he said, Sandeep, I'll give you a frank feedback of whatever the work I had given to you from morning. You took 3.5 to 4 hours to just fix a marker board. That is the state of your readiness to the market or to the industry. You can't fix your own problems. What will you fix the problems of this country? Okay, this was the statement which he made to me on that particular day when I was asked to drill the holes in the wall and fix the marker board. He said, you can't fix your own problems. What will you fix the problems of the country? This particular statement, so let me tell you, I was a bit arrogant in those days because I had the best education possible. And this works out in your mind. In that age, you'll obviously have this, you're hot-blooded. You'll obviously think, who is he to tell me? So, but that particular statement made me think so much that, and the distance from that particular basement office to the PG where I was staying is, I think it was around 10 minutes or 15 minutes walk. I think that was the longest walk I had in my life. For a simple reason, that particular statement made a serious impact in my ego. Okay, because nobody had asked me such a question, and so nobody had hit my ego so hard. And he had asked me a question: how do you fix the problems of this country when you can't even solve your own problems? You think of it, you're all youngsters. If a tap is leaking, you need a plumber. If a switch is not working, you need an electrician. Something simple things in your home at your home is not working, you need an expert to come and solve it. And you have studied all these fundamentals in your first year engineering. Irrespective of your branches, we all have studied. Okay. So unfortunately, we didn't. Something goes wrong in and around. We need somebody else to solve. So that day, I decided, until unless Kumar kicks me out of his office, I'm going to stay with him. And it's been 11 years. I have stayed with him to the thick and thin of his times as one of his partners in the company. Okay, so from an intern of that company, I've grown to become the executive director of the same company and one of the managing partners of the new rolled out company back in 2016 and also in 2020. So this is a very simple, what has happened in technological acquisition in this last 11 years, personally, intellectual acquisitions that I have made, that's a different aspect. Okay, that's been an immense journey that I had in the last 11 years where I got to learn a lot of things. Dr. Ram was the student of Dr. Radhakrishnan. the son of C.V. Raman. He was the director of Intel India, and he is one of the empaneled expert in United Nations. Okay, things turned completely different for me. I was not a good student, by the way. As I said, I never had even eligible. I was never even eligible for any placements. Today, I have established 5 academic relationships in 5 different universities. I've set up research labs in various universities. 500 plus postgraduate students have studied in our lab, completed their full-time internships for 1 year, and I've converted 70 of them as employees. So this happened because somebody showed me the road, and so somebody showed me the path that the way you're going is not the right way. You need to change yourself. Okay, that was the first trigger I had in my mind. So first thing to become an entrepreneur, you need to identify the problems in and around. The problems are your opportunities. Okay, so India as a country is very, very diverse country, culturally, linguistically, in financially, landscape-wise, everything we are diverse. And when there is so much of diversity, and there are so much of opportunities. Okay, so if you're able to identify these kind of opportunities, these kind of problems, then only you grow as an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is not some fancy word that everybody wants to have on their chest. Entrepreneurship is one of the toughest domain to get into. Take it from me, it will hit you so hard in all the directions, and it will test you so hard in every aspect of your life that every moment you will feel like you want to leave this entrepreneurship and go and find a job somewhere else. Okay, one who passes all these tests, passes all these difficulties, hurdles, only he can become a successful entrepreneur or a sustained entrepreneur. Okay, so why I told this small story to all of you is, it's not just thinking about I want to be an entrepreneur. It's about how much are you committed. Do you have the patience, persistence, and the perseverance to become an entrepreneur? So that's when you can really start a company, take risks in life, find people who can team up with you and share your passion, and work together to make some venture successful. Until then, I think you have to still be putting that question: are you really that material to be an entrepreneur? Okay, so that's why I just wanted to share my story with you guys. Okay, so let me bring you guys to the reality of starting a company back in India. Okay, so why startup? Okay, so when you think about why startup, and why startup in India especially. So when you think of why startup in India, then you have to think of what is happening in the last 10, 15, 20, 25 years. What is happening to Indian ecosystem of starting a company? So there are serious convergence that has happened in the last 15 to 20 years, especially in the 4 segments. The 4 segments are the enterprise market. I'll tell you what are these things. You're very young to understand these terminologies. I'll explain in detail what are these terminologies. So enterprise market, quality talent, consumer growth, and consumer intelligence. You need to be very, very near to the new trends and technologies that are happening in the world to understand them, what is happening in the real startup community. So you need to be reading through, understanding, identifying the data sets or the information that is happening in these domains. Okay, so enterprise market, let me bring some consciousness to your daily routine. Most of you heard about TCS, Infosys, and various other companies which come in the IT services. Okay, so in India, if you look at all these IT services company and the product company, so the product companies are basically the Facebook, Google, Amazon, and all these product companies. So these are all US-based companies, and the IT services companies are all Infosys, TCS, Mindtree, and all these guys. So when it comes to product companies, they're all the tech giants of the US and the Europe. For them, the real big market was the US. Okay, so the big market, when I say the real turning point, they're all trillion-dollar companies today. So the biggest turning point they had because of the US market. For the IT services industry, only the 10%. When I say US market for the product companies, you should understand one thing. US market for the product companies, that is their native country or their local country. They got the maximum revenue from their local country or the local community. But Indian companies, which are IT services companies, have got 90% of the revenue from the Western countries. Only 10% of the total revenue in a year comes from the local country or the local community. So that's an achievement, by the way. That means you are a pioneer in global delivery. Your companies, your country's companies, are becoming the pioneers in the global delivery. This has inspired many today. So many product companies in fintech, education technologies have come. Okay, Byju's is the biggest example of how a company can be a global delivery company, starting from an humble background. I think most of you heard about Byju Ravindran, who was doing tuition classes. Okay, when Ranjan Pai identified him and said, why don't you go digital? That's when he started Byju's as an office and a company which went digital in conducting tuition classes. And rest is history. Today it is valued at $14 billion. That is nothing but 44 or 50,000 crores. Okay, and various companies like Razorpay. Razorpay, there are youngsters of 28 years. I don't know whether how many of you heard about Razorpay. It's a payment gateway which is being used in various organizations like IRCTC and all these people. All the payment transactions happens through their gateway. That means 11% of the total Indian money transactions happens through Razorpay payment gateway. The two youngsters started in 2014. Okay, today 11% of the total Indian money transactions happens through Razorpay. Okay, this is the convergence in terms of the enterprise market that we are looking at. PhonePe, okay, the Swiggies, the Olas, and all these guys. Okay, as when you want to become an entrepreneur, you should understand one thing: the Indian ecosystem is different from the ecosystem that you see outside. Okay, here we first come up with a business idea, then we enable that business idea with technology. But in the West, they come up with the best of technology, and for that they write the business story around it. So we have the different way of startup ecosystem. So this you should be very clear. In India, if you build the best technology and then try to write a story, nobody wants to listen to you. First come out with the best business idea, then enable it with technology. I mean, Ola, Oyo, Swiggy's, and the Zomatos of the world, and all these guys are not the biggest tech giants. They're all the best business ideas. The rest, whatever they are doing to enable that business idea is the technology that that they have enabled with. Okay, this is how the enterprise market is growing in India. Okay, the quality talent. I think there are enough engineers coming out today, and with a lot of knowledge. The knowledge is in your fingertips. I mean, you are able to access any amount of knowledge in any domain. The various online education companies are offering enormous amount of courses, data sets, information about any domain you take. YouTube has become a virtual university, right? So like this, the quality talents are getting generated. Okay, 4 million IT professionals are there in India. That is the second largest IT pool in the world. Okay, so for IT services, there are 4 million IT people are available in India anytime. That's the biggest pool after US. And US has got 6 million IT professionals. And out of 6 million, 1 million are Indians. And we still have some presence there, right? So this is the quality of talent that we have got, and we are generating every year. And I think some time ago, Karnataka alone produces more number of engineers than the entire Australian continent itself, right? So this amount of quality of talent we have right in our community. The consumer growth. Okay, I would like to put some thoughts to all of you. When you talk about consumer growth, look at how many smartphones are there today in India. So more than 60% of the Indian population has smartphones today. Okay, thanks to Jio, because it has changed the entire telecom landscape, where data was so expensive pre-Jio era, and post-Jio, or when Jio era came and when the entire data became free, and a lot of content was available to all the people who used to have the smartphones. And once the data became free and the number of smartphones in the market increased exponentially. So once you have smartphones in people's hand, once the data is available at their fingertips, the biggest change that happens to the country's digital penetration is that the money transaction goes through digital change. Any amount of interaction happens digitally. Okay, all your Jandan accounts today, all your Aadhaar information, everything has become digital, right? So we have the biggest API stack, the world's largest API stack of public information of each individual of this country is available as a public domain, right? So this was developed by government of India with volunteers, and this data can be used by any company with proper protocol. No other country in the world has got this amount of data set, this type of information through APIs except the Singapore. Okay, this is how we have penetrated. Okay, a lot of people, we were all cribbing about demonetization, and demonetization happened. A lot of people suffered, but you look at the statistics, the entire country has started using digital ways to do the transactions. Today we are like 800% more digital than what we were pre-demonetization. Rest you have to. There are pros and cons for any type of implementations of the movements in this country. So as an entrepreneur, I will always look at the positivity in which I can look at what are the opportunities that I will be getting out of this kind of a change that the government is making in the to the people, right? So this is the consumer growth, and people are becoming more and more smartphone intellectuals, right? So nobody taught. I come from a village. Even today, my mother stays in a village. Okay, a lot of my friends are from a village, and there are so many of my friends who are not even past 7th, 8th students standard when I was, when they were all my classmates back in my village, right? But today, who went and taught them Facebook? Who told them how to use WhatsApp? Who told them how to transfer money in PhonePe or Google Pay? Right? So all this has happened because there was a huge convergence because of the telecom revolution that happened because of Jio. Right? So everybody fell in line. This is a huge change that has happened. I don't know, most of your young guys, when Jio was not there, we used to pay enormous amount to Airtel and various other service providers for the data. Today, because of this kind of a change, a lot of OTT platforms have come, payment gateways have come. You can pay anything through online. Okay, so when you look at the numbers, you may think that so still so many percentage is not there, but go with an absolute value. Okay, you as an entrepreneur have to always think of an opportunity. When you look at an opportunity, the absolute value is so big of a pie that everyone who wants to aspire to become an entrepreneur in any domain can have a bite in that pie. Right? So only be at the positive side when you're looking at a problem, converting that problem into an opportunity. So consumer growth and consumer intelligence, I think you understood now. People, you don't have to teach anyone to operate an app now. You don't have to train anyone to use an app. Everybody are self-trained now. The intelligence is so good that smartphones have become so common today. 6 to 60, anybody can use anything, right? Any app. When I say anything, any app. So that's the consumer intelligence we are talking about. Okay. And in the current ecosystem, what I want to tell you is we are the third largest startup ecosystem. Okay, there are so many incubators, so many venture capitalist firms that are encouraging various ideas, various youngsters to come out, to work and come up with the best possible technology or best possible business idea. So 40,000 plus startups have come up in the last 10 years. 40,000 is not a small number for a country of this size, with this kind of a diversity that we are speaking about. Okay, so even now I think you'll be surprised to see that even Jaipur has got 800 startups. Patna has got 250 or 400 startups recently. Okay, it's not just Bangalore becoming the startup hub. Every city is starting to grow. Everybody wants to be self-resilient. Okay, so they want to start on their own, bring business to the country, and start creating jobs for the country. So this is happening. 40,000 startups is a huge number. 250% growth in the last 5 years. Out of this 40,000, 250% has been the growth of the number of startups that has come is 250% in the last 5 years itself, and $140 billion worth of value being created in the last 10 years. This is the enormous ecosystem that Indian community has created. A lot of foreign investments are coming in. So you are in the verge of a huge revolution when it comes to startup. Okay, you're in the right speck of time. So make the best use of this time to do something on your own. Okay, so the best possible thing you can do first, to start or to become an entrepreneur, first try to understand how a problem becomes a product. Sorry, first try to understand how idea becomes a problem becomes a product. Okay, so this journey has to be understood very well. You need to live with this kind of a journey, then only you can be a successful entrepreneur. Okay, so given all these things, you are in the basically your location is higher education institutes as an institute. The policy has been which has been made in 2019. Frankly, personally, I'm not a big fan of such policies because I don't believe in such policies, because they have made a little impact in any kind of startup ecosystem in any country for that matter. But still, there are some advantages. So there are some good takeaways that you can look into. So, startup policy of 2019 for the higher education institutes. There's a 40-page document you can go through. I just highlighted the points here for your benefits. Okay, so what basically I want to tell you guys is that these kind of policies are made by the government of that particular day to make sure that you get the best benefits, the best schemes to encourage yourself to sustain for a long time in the startup venture. Because if you go to any venture capitalist today, the first thing they'll ask you once your idea is convinced, what is your exit plan? The exit plan is nothing but, are you exiting with good amount of money in 3 years or 5 years? That exit plan you have to write, right? So this is the way the VCs, the venture capitalists, the people who put money to your idea or to your venture, they're called the venture capitalists, right? They also so in the short form, they're called as VCs. So if your idea is convinced, the first thing they look at is what is your exit plan? Because if I put 10 crores to your venture, will I exit with 100 crore in 3 years? That's what they look at. That is why they'll invest in your company, right? So, but to sustain yourself as an entrepreneur for a long time, to build a legacy system, government has come up with various kinds of schemes or strategies that you can start adopting it when you are in the institute or in your college itself. So this is what startup policy of 2019 says. And there are certain information for the faculties and the institute themselves, and there are certain information solely for the students or the entrepreneurial community. So strategies and governance, the point basically discusses about how the institutes have to come up with various strategies to enable the entrepreneurship ecosystem back in their institutes. So, for example, the biggest, the most drastic step they have taken is 1% of the total income of the institute has to be dedicated for the entrepreneurship. I mean, frankly, that's not going to happen anyways. But still, that's what the policy says. 1% of the total income has to be put into the startup policy or the innovation startup policy. Okay, and in this strategies such as how these kind of entrepreneurship ecosystem can be brought has to be figured out by the institutes themselves. How do we figure out? So enabling infrastructure. When you say enabling infrastructure or the entrepreneurial infrastructure in the institution itself is nothing but creating entrepreneurship cells, or they call it as entrepreneurship development cells or the innovation cell. They are also called incubation centers. All these kinds of infrastructure should be developed. So this is not something that has come up in 2019. Earlier, technology and business incubators have been there in the country. And there are 14 or 15 they are shortly called as TBIs, Technology and Business Incubators, which are given to some of the premium institutes. Manipal is one such recipient of such institute. It's called MUTBI, Manipal Universal Technology and Business Incubations, where they encourage various kinds of entrepreneurial activities, especially pre-incubation, incubation, and entrepreneur in residence schemes. Okay, one of the most important, schemes that Government of India has come up is called Nidhi EIR. It's called Nidhi Entrepreneur in Residence Scheme, where once you're a graduate, let us say you've completed your Bachelor's of Engineering, or any graduate for that matter, not only Bachelor's of Engineering. So if you've completed any bachelor's, so let us say you have very good idea. So approach these kind of technology and business incubators. It doesn't mean that only that university students or that particular college students who have to apply. This is open to all. Only 14 TBIs have been recognized by Government of India so that any college student can apply there. Okay, that's an infrastructure created with the funds given by the MHRD, right? So given that, let us say you have a very good idea, so you go and approach these technology and business incubators to give you a chance in Nidhi EIR scheme. So Nidhi EIR scheme is basically, they'll pay you up to 30,000 rupees every month to you as a part of a stipend for the next 18 months while you experiment on your idea. So here, you don't have to start a company because you don't know. You have an idea. So you want to experiment with this idea. You want to see that, whether this idea works. You'll write a business plan to this idea, whether this particular business plan will work. So you will vet this business plan with various experts, and also try to do some commercial pilots, whether you can sell this idea or, whatever the outcome of this particular idea is sellable. So these kind of experiments, to do these kind of experiments, you don't have to start a company, build a team, and do all these things. So you yourself can experiment under this scheme. So to sustain yourself during this venture or during this experimentation, so the Government of India has said that these technology and business incubators can provide or shall provide up to 30,000 rupees of stipends so that you can experiment on your idea. This is a wonderful opportunity, okay? For a simple reason, let us say these kind of schemes are not there. So you have an idea. So you will have to put all the money from your pocket, your bread and butter, everything has to be taken care by yourself. But at least here, there is some feeder to you so that, you can use this kind of money, this kind of schemes to, make sure that your routine is not disturbed, right? So these kind of schemes are available. These kind of schemes can be set up within the incubation centers or the innovation cell or the entrepreneurship development cells. Okay, you can also, let us say your idea is matured enough, then I think you can go to the funding agencies like BIRAC or Department of Science and Technology, DBT, Department of Biotechnology, and TIFAC, and various other funding agencies which are all under the MHRD. Okay, these kind of funding agencies provide funds from 5 lakhs to 1 crore. If your idea is, idea can be industrialized or mass manufactured or whatever it is, mass produced, then they fund up to 5 crores as well. So these kind of schemes are also available under the MHRD's DBT, DST, and then also in TIFAC enabled funding agencies. So these awareness have to be brought to the students and the faculty. Okay, faculty, the institutions have to come up with various kinds of, there's a point here, where you will organizational capacity, human resources, and incentives. So let us say there are various there are a number of faculties who are interested or who are exposed to entrepreneurship in their early career, before coming to the teaching field. They would have worked in industry for 1 or 2 years. They've come here. They have some exposure of product development. Then the organizations or the institutions have to come up with a strategy or come out with an enablement policy in such a way that these guys are allowed to practice their, are allowed to mentor or what do you say, co-found or be a shareholder in any of the entrepreneurial venture by their students. A faculty himself can start a company. So these kind of enablement have been prescribed in the startup policy of 2019. Okay, so the key to all these things is collaboration, co-creation, business relationship, and knowledge exchange. You can do with foreign exchange programs, or you can do with any with any research institutes that are government run. You can do with any private university. The collaborations are most important. Recently, I heard that GM Institute of Technology, Davangere, has collaborated with one of the institutes called Manipal School of Information Science in Manipal to see how they can orient with the industry in terms of changing their college or the attitude of their college to more industry oriented. This is something new, how impactful it is that you have to see over the time, but they have made an effort to go, collaborate with another academic institute locally. So that's very interesting. These kind of things have to be done so that all the possibilities or the journey that this the Experience Institute has gone through will be passed on to this new institute to see how well they can mold themselves into this kind of ventures. So this is what startup policy and innovation policy says. And it is most important that faculty and students go through the intellectual property rights management or the intellectual property rights training during this, through entrepreneurship cells or innovation cells in their college. I think most of these practices are already going on in various colleges. I hope it is also happening at your college as well. I think these are all simple things that we call it as old wine in new bottle. That's what the policy says. But I'm not such a big fan. If I advise an entrepreneur, I think you need to slog your asses down here. Okay, you need to find out what is your idea. You need to find out, are you the real material to become an entrepreneur? You need to identify whether you can persist this passion for a long time. Okay, so if all these things, if you're mentally prepared, then I think rest is just an enabler. Okay, you don't have to wait for any policy to take you forward. Okay, this is my advice to the youngsters. Don't wait for anything. These are all enablements, but without these enablements, you can still succeed. Today's all these 40,000 startups, what we spoke just now, are not dependent on any policy for that matter. Okay, so these are good enablements for an institute. While my personal advice to all the entrepreneurial aspirants is that you don't have to stop for anything. If you have an idea, venture with it, discuss about it with your partners, talk to them, come up with a team, or you start on your own, and then approach the VCs. Okay, Byju's, that has happened. Byju Ravindran was 30 years or 29 years when he got the first funding. Today they are $857 million funded. That's not a small amount. That is the highest any amount of foreign funds that has come to India for any company for that matter. Except Jio. Forget Jio, they're on the different league altogether. But for an EdTech company, a small town boy from Kerala has achieved so much. They're the official sponsors of Indian cricket team today. So this is the best example that you can take from. Okay, you can see how they have grown. Paytm, PhonePe, and Ola's and the Swiggy's of this country, the Voyo guy. The Voyo has got $2 billion investment today. For what? Booking rooms in a hotel. Okay, so this is how the world is moving. The business ideas are popping up every day. The great learning has come, the upgrade has come for higher education, and Springboard has various others. Unacademy has come up with. So during this lockdown, so many higher education edtech companies have come up. Okay, they're challenging the entire status quo, right? So you want to be in that arena. You want to be in any domain. The next 10 years will be all about data. Data is going to be the next time bomb. Okay, anything that you do with data, you're going to do. You're going to be a successful venture. Okay, the mobility, fintech, logistics, and the education. These four are the biggest segments. Healthcare has lost its space for a simple reason. Healthcare is the most sloppy domain because too many stakeholders there. You don't find any growth. There are only 10 big companies which want to rule the healthcare segment. So not so much of investments have come to healthcare. So in the last 10 years, except some companies like Tracto, M-Fine, and all these guys. But if you look at the next 10 years growth, it will be more into fintech or the financial technologies, the educational technologies, and logistic technologies, and the companies which are doing the operational technologies. Okay, so focus your learning, focus your survey or market research in these domains. Next 10 years is all about companies which acquire more and more data. Okay, so with this, I want to open this forum for the next 10 minutes of question answer. So if anybody has any doubts, I think you can feel free to ask me. I hope this 40-minute session was helpful to you guys. So I think this kind of if somebody is interested to be an entrepreneur, I think one-on-one interaction would help. I can share my experiences even better if somebody is interested to venture to become an entrepreneur. Thanks so much for the time, and thanks to Ratnakar sir for giving me this opportunity.
So now I request anybody from the audience side have any queries. They can now openly ask the question to Sandeep sir. Anything regarding to the innovation, startup policy. So anyone from the audience have any doubts, any questions? So anything related to student entrepreneurship?
Even faculties,
So no
if you have any doubts, you can ask to become entrepreneur. If no questions, formally, we can wind up, Yashwant. Sandeep sir, it was really mind-blowing, your experience, thoughts. You should really provoke us to become entrepreneurs. We look forward to have continued association with you, sir.
Sure, sir. Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
Yashwant, can we have formal vote of thanks done?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So on behalf of ATME College of Engineering, thank you very much, Sandeep sir, for sharing your experience, knowledge, and giving a brief introduction about the National Innovation Startup Policy 2019. Now, I would like to call upon Professor Ramanuja to propose the vote of thanks for today's event.
Thank you, Yashwant. Thank you. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to render vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to hello. First of all, I would like to thank today's speaker, Sri Sandeep Patil sir, Executive Director, Applied Cognition Systems Private Limited, for accepting our request and being here with us. Sir, you have enriched us about National Innovation and Startup Policy. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to extend my thanks to management of ATME College of Engineering for continuous support and encouragement. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Basavaraj L, for continuous encouragement in organizing events under IIC. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Dean Student Affairs and President Institute Innovation Council, Dr. Ratnakar Ji, for creating this wonderful event and making it a grand success. Thank you, sir. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Dean Academics, Dr. M.S. Govindegowda sir, and Dean Research and Development, Dr. Bhagyashree Madam, for gracing this occasion. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to organizing committee for realizing this event and make it a grand success. And at last but not the least, I would like to thank participants who are here. Thank you one and all.
Sandeep sir, once again, thank you very much. We would like to have continued association with you, maybe in coming days also. We look forward for your support to build up our institution and student community in connection with entrepreneurship, sir. We look forward for your continued support in this endeavor. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem, sir. No problem. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for giving me this time. And I think we hope, let's hope, there will be more and more entrepreneurs in the coming years.
Surely, sir. Surely, sir. With personalities and dignitaries like you, with their support, we want to build an entrepreneurship cell here, a very strong entrepreneurship cell here. And also we want to come out with a lot of entrepreneurs in coming days, which can support our country. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
So thank you very much, everyone, for taking the active participation in today's event. So thank you one and all.